Welcome back, you guys. Welcome back. I am Wicked Raider 22. So happy to have another session, another update with you guys. There are a couple of things that I am just chomping at the bits to get in, but let's do a clan versus clan update, do a general account update. And then I've got a little content in mind for you, not only for this video, but for our next video as well. So just kind of see where things go. If you have not subscribed, you are in the right place. Here on this channel, free to play, of course, all the way through. We are working on our beginner's journey, seeing how far we can go, what things we can get done, and of course, having fun the entire way. So if you've been keeping up, we've just finished off clan versus clan. Whenever there are tournaments, whenever you have events or clan versus clan little matchups that come to an end, the most exciting part a lot of the time is to see which rewards the clan overall was able to achieve, and of course, if any personal rewards were granted as well. Now, as you can see, it's been a little bit of time for us. We have quite a few things to open, and I love having these videos where you're just kind of going through and doing those opening screens. So let's kind of start. Now, I will tell you guys on this one, we did not do really well. Usually on clan versus clan, the participation for my other clans is amazing. And when I logged in, you can see for myself personally, I didn't post the highest numbers. I did go above my 1,000-point contribution, but alone I put in 12,505 points. Now, the other thing with this account, being that it's a new account, it's a little bit more difficult sometimes to get the points you're looking for. We were a level 1 clan that was actually put against a level 6 clan. So, you know, a little bit of difference, but could we have possibly had more activity? The answer is yes. And we're going to go through and kind of see the areas where we excelled and those areas where we did not. And then, of course, you've got to check out the rewards. So, on most of your clan versus clan, I can tell you guys off top, these first two, champion objectives and campaign objectives, will likely be your highest areas. Are you upgrading champions? Are you upgrading just going in, and a combination of doing the pulls that you need from shards in order to elevate your champions? Are you running your champions through campaigns, for example, and beating those levels? This is when I use my multi-battles quite a bit. Remember, about 2 weeks ago, we did the promo codes, and we're going to talk about those as well. And we were given a couple of multi-battles. These are perfect events to save those multi-battles for. So having that 99-day, or even sometimes they'll do it a week or two before, but having that little stretch of time where you can either prep for an upcoming tournament, or you have the resources saved that once the tournament starts, you can jump in, is always helpful. Now, I can tell you this, knowing that Ice Golem gave you 2 times the credit, this is one area where the clan overall should have excelled a little bit more. Even if you're only able to do those lower levels of Ice Golem, Fire Knight, even with Spider, Minotaur, like all of those areas in the dungeon, it's nice just to go in because you are being rewarded as you go through. Now, faction wars for our clan wasn't touched, and that's very dependent on what champions you have available to you. Sometimes I simply do not have any champions for the faction that is open at the moment. The other area where you could have gotten double the rewards, of course, was also in gear objectives. Doing those upgrades, this is another reason why saving silver prior to a clan versus clan is huge. I have been listening to a couple of veterans, and many of them will like they keep all their shards for their double, triple, 10 times events. They will keep their multi battles and their silver reserves for those clan versus clan as well. Remember, if you do not win as a clan, you will not be given those personal rewards. So though we put in our 12,505, which would have almost hit at least our first milestone, we weren't able to win these because our clan overall did not win. Now, to do a comparison, I know with this account, I believe we're like level maybe 30 something. On my personal account, I actually was able to make it to milestone 6 or 7, I do believe. So I was here. Our clan was successful and we end up getting really, really good rewards. This should not discourage you guys though. So let's take a look and see what we did get. So we already hit milestone number 1. So energy is always good. Silver, some magic brews for milestone number 2. And then this one is pretty good. So we got a couple of potions that we will definitely be using. Energy is always a nice one. And we made progress. Honestly, I kind of take this one on myself as well. It would have been nice to have made it to milestone number 4 as a clan. Even if you aren't winning, just the points you're earning can be really, really impactful. I did not have an opportunity to do a secondary login. So it's kind of nice when these hit closer to the weekend. It does allow you to log in a little bit more. But Clan versus Clan is always exciting, and it's always one of those moments that I want to push myself as far as I can possibly go. We're going to update Guardian Ring. We need to go back in and drop another champion in. And there are a couple of champions that we will talk about as well. Got a couple of videos coming out to go through. One of them that came to mind were 5 champions that have changed the way I play for my beginning account. And I think that's a big one as well. Just going in and kind of looking at what champions I have available to me, what I've been able to do with them so far, and how they've actually allowed me to change my gameplay. Now, we have a couple of rares that we pulled. For example, Avenger is one of those rares. You're going to pull her, guys, pretty often. I'll be honest. In the probably 40 days overall, I've been playing even with my personal account. I have probably pulled Avenger now maybe 5 or 6 times. I have never built her out. So she's never been one that I've gotten really excited about to go in and take the opportunity to put artifacts on her. I run her long enough to build her up, and then that's about it. So let's kind of look at her skills since we have her pulled. And I will caution you, a lot of people encourage you to keep at least one copy of every rare that you pull. I've heard this a few times before. The game will go back and do buffs along the way. I haven't been playing long enough to see it, but I've definitely ran across enough videos to know that it's probably going to bite me. It's kind of like fusions. You don't know until you actually get there. Because looking at her overall stats, beginner game, her speed isn't horrible at 104, but her first skill, hunt level, she attacks one enemy, has a 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. And all of her attacks, of course, all of her skills are going to be attack based. Doesn't take a lot of books. You can increase that damage, of course. So you have the 25% that you can add on. Something to kind of think about depending on who else you have on your particular team. I will tell you with high elves, dark elves, you're going to pull quite a few of these guys, and many of them have really great overlapping skills. So don't underestimate who you may pull in the future. Second attack is going to be the Lethal Vortex. Attacks at random 2 times. This can be pretty helpful if you are doing those early stages, that round 1, round 2 is keeping you from reaching that boss at the end. Has an extra 15% chance of inflicting a critical hit. It's okay. You can go in, book her up, and do 20%, add it on. So that would get you at a 35% chance of doing a critical hit. And you can bring this down to a 2-turn cooldown. You have Fatal Blow, attacks one enemy. The skill always inflicts a critical hit. This key right here, if I am in campaign, I'm having a couple of areas where I'm struggling, that can be a good one as well. And of course, the amount of damage that's given can be booked up by 20%. And her aura increases ally attack and faction crypts by 17%. I can tell you now, we probably have 1 or 2 other champions where their faction crypt aura is higher than 17%. She's not a horrible champion, but she's not a champion that honestly I've kept long enough to move her to any other section of the game. Notice though, she's right next to Elhain, so it's one of those things you may think about. And she's also next to Apothecary. So I have him on my personal account. I like working with them. She's in the same group with Eris as well. I have had accounts where I pulled Eris, I use Eris. Um, she can kind of be hard to get just because she is acquired from drops. So through campaign, once you pull her, honestly, you'll probably pull her several times as well. We pulled another aristocrat, which I pulled her before as well. To me, she kind of reminds me of a simpler version of Avenger. Really, really similar. The slick back hair does not help. But as you can see, there's a huge skill difference. And noticeably, there's a huge speed difference as well. So when it comes to aristocrat, only 2 skills. Attacks one enemy, has a 25% chance of placing a 50% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. So this is her sepsis tips. Then her second attack, of course, which can be put on a 3-turn cooldown, Stinging Rebuke, level 1, attacks one enemy 2 times, has a 50% chance of placing a 15% weaken debuff for 1 turn. The weekend debuffs can be helpful if you are going in, for example, and you're getting to a boss. You have to keep her alive long enough to get her there. So I can tell you now at Aristocrat, probably the biggest thing, I've taken her up to a 4-star before using her as food. And I want to say I may have one on my other account currently. But she's in that same class with Jaeger and Elfguard. If you notice, we pulled all of these guys, but nothing to really write home about or to get really, really excited over. All right. So the other thing is that may have been the only pull recently that we've had. And you're also going to notice as you start getting those pop-ups are going to change pretty often as well. Make sure we are checking in for our responsibility. We can pay 25,000 silver just from logging in and clan activity. So we'll definitely take that as well. Always visiting the market to kind of see what we have. Every now and then they will toss in a champion that you really want. And I'll be honest, on my personal account, they actually dropped in Sniper, who, if you guys remember, I consumed after getting her to 5-star. I wanted to increase Deliana on my other account, and so I used Sniper. Sniper is not the strongest. Elhain is in the same group and does pretty much the same thing. But guys, she is like one of my absolute favorites. I love some Sniper. No reason why, but every now and then you will garner an attachment to a champion. And honestly, if you've already had a pretty solid team and you've at least brought your team to 5 stars, so you're at level 50 with them, and you want to keep a champion, hey, go for it. That's all I can tell you. Now, coming across, our mind is full, so we're going to go in and remove those little 5 gems so it can keep going. Now, on the last video, we opened the gem mine. I have had an opportunity since then to go in and remove gems. I want to say 3 times. So maybe 2, 3 times. I think so far we've garnered about 9 gems. It's not a lot, but the biggest thing is if I increase, which guys, at 500 is a huge one, it decreases the amount of time it takes to produce gems, and it also increases the capacity. So it can be worth it. I'm hoping we'll see how that works over time as well. Now, daily reward logins, we are still going after earning our first champ. We have made it to, we're getting closer to our first champ. We're on day 16. A lot of you guys, if you've been logging in actually daily, which I have not been, you're probably a little bit closer to Hakatan, and I may be mispronouncing that one, than we are. But I will tell you this, and this is a young lady I do have on my personal account. I have 5-starred her as well. She can be a good champion. I'll tell you this, I love the way she looks. Nothing else. The detail, the shield. Okay, we're feeling it with a little boots, got a little action going on. What she does for my team is if you're looking for someone to come in and be a good heavy hitter, in between maybe your nuker and your healer. She fits into that area pretty well. There are a couple of barbarians that are definitely worth keeping. There are a couple of lower barbarians that are worth keeping. So this is just one. I didn't even realize, honestly, she fell into the epic category. Didn't pay attention to it. But look at her skills in general. She has Imperial Grace, attacks one enemy, and has a 25% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. She is an attack-based champion, even though she's supposed to be in that support realm. So she can decrease speed, which can be nice, especially when you come to, for example, dragon bosses that are hitting you back to back to back. Her second attack is Rally the Horde, fills the turn meter of all allies by 15%, and places a 15% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. There are a couple of champions that do this. If you have Warrior Priest, for example, you're going to get that increased speed. There's one more champion that I think we currently have on our team. To go back and see that I'm thinking I've seen this before as well. This is a skill that can be ascended. So notice that the likelihood of doing that increased speed will increase by 15%. So, you're doubling what you have. And of course, you can take this from a 3-turn to a 2-turn cooldown. Now, Shamanic Lightning. This one gets interesting. Attacks all enemies and has a 50% chance of decreasing the turn meter. Out of all of her skills, based on the team and how I have built my team for my other account, this is one of the skills that I probably needed the most. The problem that I'm running into is by the time I earned her at that 30-day mark, you've also probably pulled enough champions from other areas that some of these skills will not be as impressive. But I will tell you guys, this turn meter becomes really important. I think about the Spirit Crypt, for example, when you're trying to get those green potions. And the further you go in, the higher your level, man, her turn meter is relentless. And it gets to the point where even if you're hitting for 10,000 units of damage, she is refilling by 30, 40,000. Like, it is insane. So how can I keep my team steadily attacking while keeping the opponent almost stunned in place? So she's one of those that can definitely help with that. Her aura is going to be increases ally speed in all battles by 19%. So overall, not a bad champ. Basic HP is a little low. Her speed is 97, so she's not the slowest. And everywhere else, I would really focus on gear with her. I've been playing with a couple of sets as well, and that has kind of worked out a little bit for me. So making it to this day 30 will be pretty interesting. But here's something else with daily login rewards. If you take a look just in your 30 days, take a look at how many void shards you have access to. The other thing is take a look at how many 1, 2, 3 of just your ancient shards you're looking at. So guys, you have the opportunity, even with just logging in, of pulling 5 champions that have a possibility of being at a higher rate. And I'll be honest, by the time I got to her on my first account, this previous day shard provided me with a champion that was almost at her level. So it's one of the things that will make you kind of pause and figure out, how do I really want to use this champion? And what is this champion really going to do for me? Now, here's the other thing. If you have not been using your promo codes, guys, this has been the month of promo codes. Dream Team was a promo code that gave us some really good items. I think it was Raid Summer. Oh, I have a video on it for the first promo code. You guys go back and look at that. Put that in, because you never know how long these are going to last. I saw another one. I'm not sure if it's going to work, and we'll see. So my Deliana is not working for me. I saw that one a couple of days ago. If you are a new player, brand new accounts, here's one that you may want to get in. So Lady Quinn, Con, however we want to pronounce it. This is another one for brand new accounts. It's not going to work for me, but it may still work for you guys. So be sure you're going through and you are checking for those promo codes. Keep in mind that a lot of these can be found on Discord, of course, and a lot of your veterans will also post videos when they find promo codes that are still active. All right. You are going to have that shard little boost summoning that is still taking place. So on all of your mystery shards, of course, you're going to get tons of these. We have some fusions that are available. Guys, I'm gonna be honest. Most of the time for fusions, I don't have any of the champions, and some of these champions, honestly, I've never seen before. So a lot of these guys, as you're going through and kind of seeing, who do I need to put together? I do have a War Maiden on this particular account. I have most definitely pulled a Diabolus before. She's available in campaign. I have definitely pulled a Spirit Host before. I've also eaten both of those. I've definitely pulled an Eris. So for this first guy, especially, oh, is that Justice Card? Justice CR? Okay, one of those. You could possibly fuse and get him because we have a lot of those available. Here's another one. The Executioner, which I actually pulled the Executioner from a shard. So the Executioner is a shard pull that's very, very possible. Templar is another one that we pulled previously, and we have also pulled the Sorceress before, but I've used the Sorceress quite a few times as food. So as you can see, this is when these fusions become pretty important, especially when you're looking to go to a higher champion. Same thing here. You're going to notice these are some guys you're going to run into pretty often. I'm ashamed to say I've had a marked before. Guys, I use marked for another purpose that wasn't the best. Same for Valerie. Unfortunately, I think I pulled a Valerie before on a previous account. And yeah, use Valerie for another purpose. So all of these are just kind of reminders. If you take a look here, for example, we have all of these guys. So we could possibly make this guy, but yeah, no. I have her on the accounts. So this champion we would have, we can fuse these guys together for this champion, but for Rock Beast, but Huntress, I have never pulled, and Bloodhorn, I have never pulled. And this would all be to pull this guy, Broadmouth, which I've seen videos on him, but not today. Fragment Summon is another one. So some of these fragment summons, guys, if I end up acquiring a few fragments like Walking Tomb, Dredge, we have like 5 of those. I actually acquire them just as I go, but it's not something that I am like jumping up and down for, because many of those champions, I'm not exactly sure how they would slide into the team structure. So how they're actually going to be helpful to what we have going on. Making sure I'm just going through, kind of picking up everything that's going to be free, because these shards, I'm going to definitely push myself to only pull shards during an event, just so we can increase our chances. Now, at this point, what I am thinking about with a nice sum of energy is going through and running a bit of campaign. But guys, when you finish up any tournaments, any events, especially when coming out things like clan versus clan, go in, check your rewards, double check your champions, kind of get a feel for where you are, and then make a plan to push forward. I will tell you this before we bring this particular video to an end. There's been a lot going on in the news section overall. And there's something else for all of our players that may be a little bit further ahead of us. There's been an overall event kind of going on in that backstage, especially for those people who've made it like to level 25, when you're looking at dungeons. So as you move up and you start having competitions, for example, we had one where you could only use rare champions. The more you go in, the more you pull, the more events you can kind of participate in. But we've got to limit ourselves, because at a certain point, you start having so many champions, it's a little bit harder for you to figure out, who should I keep and who should I not. So, what's going to make the biggest difference for me? That's going to be it for this video, guys. Hoping you're doing pretty good going through those events, tournaments, all of it. Make sure you're saving up on materials. You're using those as wisely as possible. And hey, I will see you soon.